Yeah, we have 2 days to decide. We can do the website if you want for cheap. We just need to decide because it will cost each about $100 if we do that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's kick things off. You ready?
Yep. 3, 2, 1. What up, boys and girls? It is I, the head cheer captain, Baby Boy Brank from Super BS. Bring it on again. A podcast about cheerleading and sometimes about video games, but mostly about cheerleading. I'm joined by my cheer squad captain,
the Cheertastic Jankosaurus Rex.
Nice. Jankosaurus, I've heard that your cheer squad is the #1 in the nation and you're going to finals. Are you going to be able to beat the dastardly duo from Austin? I don't know, whatever. The Wolverines. You got to beat them, man.
The Audacious Austins is what they're called.
The Audacious Austins. Yeah. I like that because it's like the worst name ever. They didn't even try with the city. Like,
Audacious.
Austin. It's where we
Audacity.
live. So. Audacity. They like that music program a lot. They like the recording software. Audacity. The Austin Audacity. Sponsored by Audacity. Dude, I am hoping that's the future we have where schools are just the name of corporations, where it's like the Costa Mesa Hewlett Packards. And, all the school and sports teams just have the name of corps, like all of our stadiums.
Real original.
I would like that. Is that like a joke from something else?
No, I was just coming up with things that sounded. I was looking for them sweet synonyms,
Hell yeah. Like I think Angel Stadium is like I think Angel Stadiums might not be one. It's like the Honda Stadium or whatever. They all have like the name of a corporate sponsor now. They're not like actually the stadium's name anymore. It's like or what's that? The Honda Arena, right? That's where the Ducks play. Honda Center. There we go. Yeah, I always just find that stuff funny where it's like, why didn't they just name it the Ducks Stadium? Like, I get that the teams change, but also the corporations change. Enough about corporate leet speak that we love to do here. What have you been gaming on? Hard.
Okay, so I finished something. I don't remember what it was. No, I don't think I finished something. I think I was going to play something, and then I decided to play Forza's Lego expansion instead. I was going to play. I was telling you I was going to play Scarlet Nexus or Mario Golf, and then I started playing the Forza Lego expansion, and so I've just been playing that. And I gotta tell you, man, really, really dig that series. It's like you can play forever on that game, like literally forever. Like if you're someone who doesn't have Games Pass and you just decide to lay the $60 down on that back when it came out in, was it 2019, I think?
Yep. November.
You'd be good. You could pay $60 and they just will keep adding content on there forever. Like this game is, I'm sure once Forza 5 comes out, they'll stop support for it. But like, dang man, game has had just so many hours that I've been able to put into it.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the larger budget AAA games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where they just kind of are infinite games. Like, yeah. I really do like Forza 4 from what I've played, but yeah, I don't know how I feel though about the infinite game cycle. Like when I talk about some of the stuff I played this week, they were both games that were able to be finished in like a relatively reasonable time, and
yeah,
I like that when it's a little bit condensed. There is something fun about those infinite games when you really like the loop. Like I know you love Forza 4, or Forza Horizon 4, so like that is like, yeah, okay, it's a fun infinite game to go back to. But Assassin's Creed Valhalla is so large, I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it for that exact same reason.
Yeah, and like I totally get that too. Like I had not. I had not had any intention on going back to Forza. And then I remember, when they had that Xbox sale back in the spring, I bought this add-on. I just never got around to playing it. So I figured why not? And, it's not like it's basically like they skinned the world in Lego stuff. It's not like, it's not like a whole thing where you get to like build your cars and build your house, like they give you Lego cars and they like help design your Lego house. It's not a big it's not like a separate game, because I imagine that would probably cost a lot of money, but it would be fun to do like a Lego racing game like that. But yeah, no, it's. Oh, go ahead.
Hasn't Forza like toyed with toys before? Didn't they do like a Hot Wheels for 3? Forza Horizon 3?
Forza Horizon 3 had a Hot Wheels track. Yeah. So I mean, that being said, not a lot to like really dwell on this, but it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying my time with it. I love like running into the environment and seeing the Legos shatter and all that. So it's been a good time.
Yeah, I think that stuff's really neat. Like just like a fun idea to have like a very serious game, but you have like a side story that is like a lot more fun. And I feel like especially Ubisoft tries this a lot. Like Far Cry 5, I didn't play any of the DLCs, but they were all like pretty silly, whereas the main game was like overly serious. Yeah. So like most of the DLC was like, go to space, go to Vietnam, go to wherever. I like that idea. I actually almost picked up some of those DLCs, but Far Cry 5 is my least favorite Far Cry.
Dragon. Is that the one?
Dragon. No, that was Far Cry 3's DLC. But no, Far Cry 5 had like 3 DLC packs, and each one was a different mini open world map. One was Mars, one was Vietnam, and one was, I want to say, zombies of some sort. So I can't remember exactly.
No games ever do zombies. That's completely unheard of.
Games and zombies are totally different. Nobody's ever even seen it.
It's such an original concept. No one's done that ever.
Yeah.
Can you just stop lying on this show? Come on.
I am a notorious liar, Baby Boy Brank, Liar of the Year. I won the award. Yes, the Far Cry 5, Dead Living Zombies. Dead Living Zombies. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Yeah, but anyways, they have that stuff. Yeah, man, have you played anything else, or has it been mainly just surfing the Legos?
Mainly just surfing the Legos, man.
Nice.
I tried to play Dark Alliance. I think I told you this off air, but I tried to play Dark Alliance.
It was just too much fun, so you couldn't get to it.
So much fun. I literally was incapable of playing it because, and I hope they fix this patch, but it just keeps kicking you off. Like when you play the game, you're on a live server the entire game, and if there's an issue on their end, it just keeps booting you off over and over again. Even if you're playing single player, like you have to be, I don't know what happens, but like you have to be somewhere in their server and like have a good connection to it in order to keep playing the game. Whereas like I tried to play and just kept getting booted over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, that game sounds like it has a lot of issues. I haven't really gone to try it out yet, but I don't know. It's one of those games that I think is perfect for Game Pass in that you don't need to pay money to try it. So if it sucks, you didn't spend money on it. Whereas like if that game would have come out not on Game Pass, so like say you're a PlayStation owner only, like you have to spend $40 to check to see if that's good. And that game does not sound like it's worth $40. It has like it looks like the graphics might make it seem like a $40 purchase, but the actual gameplay seems like it's maybe like a $20, almost like a very beautiful indie.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It feels to me like I watched some videos of it. It feels to me like a what'd you call it, like a gauntlet style dungeon crawler. It doesn't really go beyond. There's not a lot of substance to it beyond like just hacking and slashing and doing your your very minimal skill trees.
Yeah. I may give it a shot, but I have so much other stuff I'm playing right now. I finished actually 3 separate games since the last time we talked. I was almost done with 2, and the other one I did not know it, but I was almost done with as well. I finished Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, I think. Yeah, that game was phenomenal. That's either my favorite game of the year or my second favorite. I mentioned that last time. I was at the very end. I did get the platinum trophy.
So it's your favorite game of the year?
I don't know, but I mentioned that I like it a lot. But I did get the platinum trophy. I did finish it on normal. I do not think I will go back for a second playthrough. So that's why I'm thinking I might like Village more, because the first thing I did after finishing Village was boot it back up and start again, because I wanted to do stuff with the new guns. I really, really dug it. I think it's a great game. I think it has a really, really weak opening. Like that intro is just not very exciting, and it really takes to about the second or third planet for the game to start getting going and fun. That being said, it is a very by-the-books Ratchet and Clank game. There's nothing really new and exciting about it besides the graphics. So I can't be like, oh man, you gotta play it, they're doing crazy stuff. Like the Rift mechanic is exactly what I thought it would be, which is just like essentially like fluff. It's just like your character
Yeah.
moving,
Yeah.
through different landscapes, and it doesn't
Right.
seem that neat.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like I told you, like, yeah, I mean, I know you last week said it does deserve the 9, and like to me, it was, I think it's like an 8,
Yeah.
8.5 maybe, but like it didn't really it didn't reinvent the wheel as far as like 3D platformers go. Like it felt
Yeah.
like a Ratchet and Clank game, but it was just, I guess, a little more fun to look at than your normal fanfare.
Yeah, it's weird because I think I enjoyed at the time Ratchet and Clank the reboot 2016 more,
Yeah.
but this one is a much better game. It's faster, it's more fun, it's iterative, right? But I think Ratchet and Clank 2016, I expected it so much less. Like I picked that game up for $15 a year or two after it came out, and I loved it. I played through the whole thing. But looking back, like going back to 2016 would be hard because this one is so much faster. Once you get those rocket boots, you can essentially skate across every place in the game. And they give you a lot of things that make it pretty fun and quick and snappy. So you're kind of always going. I wish the Rift mechanic was cooler in terms of like, I love the SSD stuff, but it would be cool to see the Rift taking you to different lands without being like in boss fights or cutscenes where that's what happens, Maybe you need to see it on like kind of a normal level, like kind of like Mario Odyssey with those I forgot what they were called, like the mirrors that let you jump between worlds without going on Cappy, the hat. Do you remember what I'm talking about? Like you'd go through like a portal to another world to get a moon. Like it would have been cool to see Ratchet and Clank do that because that was like a neat mechanic on the Switch in 2017. Is like, oh, you can access a whole nother world without going through another loading screen. At least I don't remember a loading screen. I also finished the very, very recent Resident Evil 7. I know it's a 2017 game. I want to say it's 2017. Yeah, that game's great, man. It's weird. I was talking to Dr. Donna and you about it, and it is hard to compare it in 8, but because I'm a big fan of comparing games, I will say I enjoyed 8 slightly more, but only because of what they do differently. Like Resident Evil 7 is a true horror game. It is not an action game like 8 is. 8 has horror moments, but it's predominantly action. And 8 is very similar to Resident Evil 4. Whereas like 7, I felt like was more reminiscent to Resident Evil 1.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about 7 is that they stepped outside the lore. Like even Resident Evil 6, they're like, oh, we went back to the basics, but they didn't really. I think Resident Evil 7 is almost like I guess you could call it a reboot of the series because you don't even know that it's connected to Umbrella until the DLC where what's his face shows up. So Redfield, yeah, like a lot of that, like I think it's either at the end of the game or in the DLC that they add on, but you don't really feel like it's attached to the franchise until they put that stuff in there.
Yeah, I agree. Chris is a very late addition. I don't want to spoil much in Resident Evil 7. But yeah, they don't really do a lot of tying it into the series till the very end. And they kind of did something similar in 8, to be fair. Like there was some earlier mentions of like Umbrella and stuff, but it wasn't like, 1, 2, 3, where it's Umbrella, 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 Umbrella. It's like this corporation did this. Like I definitely love that series and I love these reboots and I hope the next one stays in first person because I think it's just such a good Switch so far. I hope the next one straddles the line between 7 and 8 and doesn't go harder into 8 because I do love 8, but any less hard straddling is what I like to do, but mixed with bumpy rides. Mixed with a hard straddle on a bumpy ride. But I just don't want it to be just action. I want to keep, because there's better action games. I want to keep like that horror, the semi-ammo conservationist standpoint, where 8 was like, you don't really have to worry about ammo. And 7 was like almost not fun because there was moments where you had to worry about every bullet early on. At the end, you didn't have to.
Well, so on that thought, 7 was really ammo conservative, wasn't it? Like
the first half of it was like almost to a non-fun degree. Was like every bullet needed to be shot and hit. And it had to be headshots.
Yeah, and that's what I remember about it. And then I think like with 8, at least where I am so far, like I've enjoyed the fact that like, your ammo, you need to be conservative with your ammo, but you also like you have an excuse now to go exploring into all the little nooks and crannies because they give you crafting material to make more ammo by going into those things. Like, oh, hey, there's a crate. Let me bust it open. Oh, look, I got some, metals or whatever I need to make bullets.
Yeah, and you could also buy ammo if you needed to in 8. There was a lot of like opportunities to do stuff that is not traditional Resident Evil. And like I said, I don't want them to go any heavier into the action versions of Resident Evil because we saw where that goes. 5 was essentially like the poor man Gears of War that had really cool co-op, but it just wasn't as good as Gears, but it was still pretty fun. It was that style of game though.
Yeah. 5 felt like it was too confined. I loved it. I really enjoyed my time with it. I remember playing with my brother, but like just there wasn't a lot of exploration. Whereas like I feel like 8 does a great job of like giving you things to explore and giving you a reason to go exploring.
Like if they ever want to attempt co-op again, I think that's a cool idea, but I think they need to attempt that in like this is a smaller campaign that they added. Like what they've been doing with all of those terrible multiplayer offshoots that they release with every game now. Like I think they have one called RE-Verse that's supposed to come out with 8.
Yeah, Dr. Donna says he liked it.
RE-Verse?
He said, didn't Dr. Donna said that he thought it was okay, right? If I remember our text thread.
I don't remember. I don't know if he tried it. I tried the previous one that came with 2 it came with 3, and it wasn't fun. I played it once, and it was like it would have been fun in the Nintendo 64 era, but at this point, it wasn't interesting. So yeah, if they want to do a co-op thing instead of that, where they make like a short mini campaign with co-op in mind, that could be incredible, But just to like force co-op in the main campaign, it kind of ruins the Resident Evil aspect of it. So. Yeah, and then the third game I finished, which is also a real recent title, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. My story with that, you've heard multiple times. I received it as a gift. I returned it. I didn't buy it while it's on sale, right before it dropped even more, like a dummy. I got it, and that game is a lot of fun. It is really short. I definitely think the price point of 60 was way too high. I'm glad I picked it up at 40. I would have felt a lot better picking it up physically for 30 because it is a game I don't see myself going back to. I got digitally for 40 because that was the price. Yeah. But it's good. It's great. Like I loved it. It's really short. Like I thought I was only halfway through the game and then credits rolled. So I thought there was way more. But it's like maybe a 6-8 hour game. There's like 5 biomes to explore. They're all pretty small.
So could you play it a lot faster if you wanted to?
Oh, yeah. I could have finished the game in half the time. I went out and got a bunch of other stuff too. I didn't get everything because I thought there was more to play. So I just got what I was having fun. And like some days I just collect Pikmin and stuff. But yeah, that game you could probably finish in 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours if you got it. All right. And if you skip it. So it's a really fun 3 or 4 hours. It's still an incredible 8 hours. I just was disappointed by how short it was. I feel like it should almost have come with Pikmin 1 and 2 for the price. Now, There's like side stuff like DLC where you play as Olimar that came out for the Switch version. I tried one of the missions. I may play them. I may go back through and play them, but they weren't that interesting. They're just kind of like small little challenge rooms where it's like, oh, you only have 20 Pikmin. Try to finish this room. And it's like, okay. And then you finish it. And then you're like, okay, here, go to this next room. You only have 30 Pikmin and this thing, So it's like, that's never the type of game I like to, and then you get a rank at the end of it. That's never the type of game I like to enjoy, is the whole ranking.
With the Pikimons, do you have to catch them all?
Pikimon. You got to catch them all. That was another thing that really disappointed me is there were 5 different variants of Pikmin. I want to say there were 5 variants in Pikmin 2, so I was assuming there would be 7 in this game because there were a couple that didn't return. Yeah. So I was a little bit disappointed with how kind of lackluster the game felt. It really felt like they just rushed it, which is weird to say about a Wii U game that then released on Switch years later that had like no real need for a second or like an upgrade. Yeah, man, I think it's great. So I apologize about the complaints, but it is weird. It's just weird to feel like, oh, hey, okay, this is kind of like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but that game was a lot longer. So at least for $60, that was a pretty long game.
Do you know what?
So
Do you know what I would pay $60 for? Like, we're talking about like Wii remasters. I would pay $60 for a Switch version of Dead Space Aftermath without the motion controls.
you like that game a lot?
Well, I no, I didn't like the motion control aspect of it, but if it were just like a what it was meant to be, like a first person shooter in the Dead Space
Yeah.
universe, like I would pay for it, because like the one thing that keeps me from playing that game again is the fact that it is motion controlled, and I just did not enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if it hasn't happened now, it's never going to happen. But yeah, there are a lot of games I would actually gladly pay $60 for if it was a Wii remaster. Wii U, there's only like a couple left, and that's like Wind Waker, which is I never got on Wii U, or I got it, I never opened it, so I'd like to play it, and like maybe Twilight Princess, maybe Xenoblade Chronicles X, I'm not sure, but Wind Waker is the one that I'm hoping they'll still do. Okay. Otherwise, though, man, like Wii, there's so many good games that if they upgrade the graphics like they did for Xenoblade Chronicles, like I never played The Last Story, the famous Last Mistwalker console game for Wii, where it's like a Final Fantasy style game that released Project Rainfall, and it came out like after the Wii was essentially dead.
Yeah.
So like I would pay $60 for that.
Late
but
to the party, man.
Yeah, man. And then the final thing I played, so I finished all three of those games. Final thing I played, because I got this one for dirt cheap, $30 for a first-party Nintendo game, which might as well be $10 for anything else. Paper Mario: The Origami King, I want to say is what it is. What is?
Oh,
yeah, Origami King.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was $30 at Target, same day as Pikmin. They both went on sale kind of after the Nintendo Switch sale was kind of ending, where they were $40 on it for digital. And I was thinking, I was like, hey, even if I hate it, I could probably sell it or get rid of it and only lose a couple bucks. So I picked it up. I'm at the very, very beginning of it. So far, it's really endearing. I haven't even tried the combat system yet, though, which is what people say gets old because there's no RPG mechanics or elements. So it's like a puzzle game. So we'll see how far I get. But so far, it's really, really, really fun. Like, I think it's really neat. But like I said, I'm about an hour in. I don't really have a lot to say. I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, I picked that up. I'm gonna try it out. There's some other stuff, The World Ends With You, Neo demo, that I'm also gonna try out. But
being an hour in, though, is this gonna make your game of the year list?
Yeah, I will. From last year, somehow I'm gonna go back since it's a 2020 title, and I'm gonna kick off Yakuza Like a Dragon as number one and put Paper Mario Origami King.
That's what the fans wanted to hear.
Since I played it for 1 hour. Yes, how'd you know that? I spent 60 hours with Yakuza Like a Dragon, but this 1 hour has been more fun than all 60 of those hours. No, man, there is it's a neat title. I recommended it to you and Dr. Donna, but you didn't pick it up. Did you end up getting either Scarlet Nexus or Mario Golf Super Rush? You mentioned that you were going to get these.
No, I didn't. Like, I was at the store. I went to Walmart, after our chat, and they only had it on PS4, and I wanted it on either like Xbox or PS5. So
yeah,
I held off on getting that. Held off on Mario because like I have to go back and get a game for our youngest for her birthday. So I'll probably just pick them up in one swoop,
Okay. Yeah. She might even like Mario Golf. You never know, like
they're like fighting over Spyro the Dragon right now. So I'm going to grab her a physical copy of that one.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know they had physical copies of Spyro the Dragon. I thought it was a digital only game. Okay, my friends, we are at probably the slowest news time of the year. This is after E3. There's not much happening unless you want to talk about TV shows that are canceled or whatever, because that's just what I feel like every day I read in the news. Or Cyberpunk's finally back on the PSN store, but really it's just been a slow week. There's not a lot to say gaming wise. There's a lot to say Fast and Furious 9 wise. It's incredible. Go watch it. Do whatever you need to do to get yourselves in the theaters to watch that and love it because it's incredible. But because there's nothing that's really come out that's great breaking, get on the bus and read about it, we're going to talk about the games that came out this year so we can get ready to put together our mid-year Game of the Year list. We did this last year with you at the end of the summer. We'll probably do it midsummer this year. There's not a ton of stuff coming out in July, so I don't think we're really going to,
Yes, actually, no, not a lot of stuff. But to answer a question I had on a previous episode, the Nier Reincarnation game, it's a mobile game.
Yeah, it comes out, I guess, from
July 28th. So if you're interested in playing that one, that's coming out.
Yeah, there's some indies coming out in July too, like Chris Tales and all these other stuff. We'll see if they make it on our Ascent, that twin stick shooter that's going to be part of Game Pass. We'll see if they make it on our Game of the Year list. I doubt it, but just know that these games are probably not going to be in contention for this. Our 5 tops from the first half of 2021, but we're not doing that this episode. Right now, we're just going to go through month by month and talk about the games we like, so we can start figuring out our list. And with that, let's kick it off to January. And I'm going to kick it off with a game I really did like that may end up making on my top 5 list, Hitman 3. Did you end up getting a chance to play this?
No, I did not. It's something I don't have the patience for those type of games. You know, I can't play Splinter Cell. Like games where you have to be like strategic. I'm not good at those.
There's a lot of the ability to just follow the prompts if you don't want to be strategic, and it will walk you through the missions in a fairly linear fashion. I would recommend next time it's on sale giving it a shot. It was really my first real introduction into this new Hitman trilogy. Like, I've tried a level of 2, and I think I tried a level of 1. I never really gave it a full shot. With Hitman 3, all of it was upgraded to the newest engine, and it was one of the earliest Xbox Series X games I had, and it's a blast. It is super duper fun. I haven't turned it on for a bit, but I went through some of the Hitman 1 levels just to check them out. I'm at like Bangkok. It's such a joy to play that game. Problem for me is I'm also like you. I don't have a ton of patience. So I am doing a lot of the linear, like follow the clue and go do this and go do that. And that stuff makes it, a lot easier, but you still get the satisfaction of completing the mission.
Yeah.
Anything that stands out for you in January so far?
Did not play a single one of these January games.
You did.
What did I play?
The Medium.
Oh, yes, the Medium. Yeah, I mean it's one of those games where like you, much like Resident Evil 7 and I guess there are parts of 8, like you have something that's like chasing you a lot of the time, and so it's very anxiety inducing, but it has a good story and I enjoy it. Like I don't. I know different critics had different things to say about it that weren't too positive, but I enjoyed my time in it. I enjoy the ability to walk in both worlds and kind of use clues to find out what happened to the dead and how to help them along on their journey.
Did you ever finish it?
No, I'm about 60% through. I think something else came out that I played instead, so I don't remember what that was. Oh, I was playing Night in the Woods instead. But yeah, I mean, I do plan on going back to it. Really, it's a walking simulator. There's no shooting. There's not really anything in it besides walking and ducking and hiding. So it's not something I was like in a hurry to finish, but it is something I'd like to go back to.
I want to say it's from the team that did the Blair Witch Project, which is also a game I have no interest in.
I hated the Blair Witch Project so much. About 80% of the game revolved around the mechanics used to interact with the dog, and I could not do it. Like it was not interesting enough to me to be that frustrated.
Yeah, I tried like 10 minutes of the Medium. I have no interest in playing the rest of it. I was a little excited because it was a Series X game, but when I realized what it would be, which is a walking sim, I kind of lost all my real interest in it because those aren't my games. And if they are, they need to be like an hour or 2, and they need to be really immersive, and they need to not
loading screens, right?
No loading screens. They just need to be like Gone Home or Firewatch or something where it's a short story that I'm doing. If they're just going to have me walk around and look at stuff for a couple minutes. That's what they need to do. One other game I tried out in January that I did not like very much. I played 2 of the opening levels and I just fell off it immediately.
Madden.
Cyber Shadow. I don't know if you remember that. That was a game produced by the Shovel Knight team. What is their name? Their name is Yacht Club Games. It was produced by Yacht Club Games. It was a single developer. He plays like a ninja in a Ninja Gaiden style 2D action side scroller. I don't care for those old NES games where they don't have any modern sensibilities, or I should say many modern sensibilities, because I love what is that what's that Ninja Gaiden like game that came out 2 years ago that is incredible? Indie
Hero?
No, indie side scroller. The Messenger? The Messenger. Thank you. I was going crazy. Yeah, that is. It wasn't like that. That game I loved. I played through it. I could not wait to finish it. And a lot of what kept me going in the Messenger was the knowledge that it would be an open world Metroidvania at some point.
Okay.
So I knew I would only be playing like a few hours of this side scroller, then a few hours of something else. This doesn't have that. This is just the Ninja Gaiden, move from left to right, kill the monsters, repeat. So yeah, I fell off it quick, man. Yeah, and just for sake of brevity and because these are old games, we're at February now, we're not going to talk about Control. We already talked about it when it came out in 2019 or last year when we got around to it. It's not going to make our list because it's just a next-gen
You're
upgrade.
being really controlling on this podcast.
Yep. Thank you. That's all I want to do. I want to make sure you can't talk about it. February, hit me with something. What you play?
So the only thing on this list that I have played was Ys 9, Monster from Nox. Typical Ys game. You know, your character has actually he doesn't have amnesia in this one. He gets
Adel, right? That's his name?
Adel. He gets accused of a crime, and then he gets put in jail, and then he gets given these powers by this witch lady, and it's kind of a cool thing, much like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. You can there's like rifts in reality that you can kind of shoot yourself through. Yeah, pretty neat. Other than that, like it's just your typical Ys game. A lot of fighting, a lot of storylines that do or don't make sense. Right now, instead of being able to wander around a big world, you're confined to a city that has many different levels. Like what's that city that you're in Final Fantasy 12?
Oh, Ivalice?
Yeah.
I don't know the main city's name, but the world of Ivalice is the
yeah. So much like the main city has all these different like layers of
Rabanastra.
Like, yeah. So much like that. That's kind of what the city in Ys 9 is like. You know, it's fun, but it's not like I don't know. It's not pressing, you know, on my list of things to finish. So.
Yeah, it's on coming out to Switch like in a week.
Yep, coming out to Switch. If you're into the Ys games, I would definitely recommend picking it up. If not to play it, these games become collector's items within like 3 months of them being out. You know, the last one is Ys 8 when that came out. That was you know, that's selling right now for about $160, and people, you know, it came out at a $60 price point. So usually the price goes up pretty quick on these things.
Yeah, man. It is a neat thing. I might do that exact thing, pick one up. But yeah, I liked Ys 8. I didn't finish it. It is a very anime-style JRPG. There's a demo on Switch. So if you don't feel like, you know, if you want to check out how the performance is, do that. It's also on PS4, which, you know, if you play on your PS5, will run even better. So yeah, I'm sure if you just want to play that style game, great. Did you have anything? The
combat is very smooth. That's one thing I do like about it.
The rock, paper, scissors elements of it are really fun, where you can like be the same and it'll do a mild damage, or it's weak against your type of whatever it is. Like I want to say it's like sharp, blunt, or some other thing.
Your party members and have them use their attack. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's a really neat mechanic in there.
I did like it. I liked it in 8. I haven't tried 9 yet, but maybe I will give that a go at some point. I played a lot of things in February, so I'll go through a couple before, in case you've done another thing. But I played Destruction All-Stars. It was part of PS Plus. It was the car combat game where you'd be outside of the car, jump in a car, smash another car, and then your car, you try to destroy their car to get points, and, you know, whatever.
Sounds like Twisted Metal.
It is very much Twisted Metal. It is less, I would say, less memorable and less character focused, even though that's what it tries to be. It had like 15 characters and they all remind me of the same thing. I could maybe point them out on a list of characters, but beyond that, I don't know their names. It was fun. It was really, really fun for the, you know, 2 hours I played it. I don't think I'll ever play it again. I think I already deleted off my PS5. So yeah, if you got a PS Plus and you want to check it out and there's anybody still playing it, give it a go. But otherwise, it's I don't think it's worth. I think it's free. I think they gave up on trying to charge money for it. So I think it's just free. But if it was what it was supposed to be, which is $70, it's definitely not worth that. Okay. This is one that you nor I played, Little Nightmares 2. I just want to call it out. Like, it looked cool. I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah, our friend Stankbank really liked the first one. I remember.
Yeah, I remember that
a lot in the old days.
Yeah, I doubt you got around to this one too. With three youngins, it's hard to get to horror 2D side scrollers. But yeah, if that game ever is cheap or on Game Pass, I'll give it a shot. I played a little bit of the first one and definitely enjoyed it. It was never going to be like my game, so that's why I didn't pick it up. This game, however, is a game that is my game in a lot of ways, and is weird because I said we're not going to be talking about old games, but this one gets a little bit of some slack cut to it because it has Bowser's Fury, the new add-on. It is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for Switch. I ended up getting stuck because I went to my enemy's wedding in Texas. So I was stuck out there in a snowstorm. And I ended up playing through this whole entire
rough
3D world plus Bowser's Fury. Yeah, I mean, Texas is a real shit hole. It's a shit storm, and no one likes it. And I went there to spit on my enemy as he was getting buried. I was out there just spitting on him consistently. It was what the right thing to do at the time. So
it felt like I know you set your kissing booth up outside. So
well, and I was kissing everybody there with COVID because I wanted to make your wedding extra bad. So kissing with COVID, as they call it. This won't get us canceled at all.
Nice.
Anyways, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, I loved it, but I'll be honest with you, the thing I liked more than Bowser's Fury was actually Super Mario 3D World, the game I never played on the Wii U. After I got way into that game, man. And I think if they didn't make the last world so ridiculous to get to, I would have 100%ed it. But I didn't want to play through the game with 5 characters. So I didn't get to do that. I did not get a chance to play Persona 5 Strikers. Looked neat. It is a Musou game.
Is that a extension of Persona 5, or is that just like a different, like a brawler, or what type of game?
From what I understand, it's like a direct sequel that doesn't take the ending into account. That's what I've read. I don't know a lot about it, so I just want to call it out because it is one of the larger titles that came out this year. That's not a remaster next gen upgrade. So I just want to say, hey, that exists. Neither of us played it, so it's not going to make our list. And then another game that may actually make my list, even though I only put about 30 hours into it, which wasn't enough for how big the game was. Bravely Default 2. I really, really dug it. I've liked all the Bravely Default games, but like all JRPGs, it requires so much grinding and so much time that it ended up killing all my hype, and I fell off. I do have to say
it's kind of par for the course for those games, though, right?
Yeah. So that is why I don't finish many JRPGs anymore, because they all want you to play them solely. So and they want you to play as Sully from Uncharted in them. So it's really weird. They had Sully as a character model in Bravely Default 2. It's really, really strange. March. Is there anything you... actually, I'll start this off so you can have some time to look over the list, see if there's anything you played. I played Maquette. It was a free PS Plus game, an indie puzzler. It was interesting. You bring a big object and make it smaller. You move a small object into the small world, and it becomes bigger in your world around you. I guess that's what a Maquette puzzle is. I dug it. I only played it for 2 hours. Has voice work from, I think, Bryce Dallas Howard and her husband. So it was neat. I can't say much beyond that. I don't have any interest in ever playing it again because it wasn't, some of the puzzles just got kind of arbitrary and obtuse. So I didn't really want to play anymore. Is there anything that you were totally digging in March?
No, I remember I wanted to play Paradise Lost, but I never got around to trying that one out. But yeah, other than that, there's not really anything there that I have touched this.
What is Paradise Lost?
It was like a game where you find some Nazis in an underground bunker.
Oh, it's also an adventure game. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I also just really didn't play anything in March. Wow, I'm looking at it, and that's very unusual for me. But yeah, the big titles that released were It Takes Two, the co-op game by Joseph Ferris, and Monster Hunter Rise, and Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot came out last year, but yes, the Switch version came out.
Oh, okay, you're right.
And Balan Wonderworld. So the big three: Balan Wonderworld.
Big news for that one.
It Takes Two. I feel bad for that game, man. The creator of Sonic.
He retired.
He retired pretty much because of that game, it sounds like. Yeah. And It Takes Two and Monster Hunter Rise were the 3 big ones, and none of them interested me at all. So I did not buy a single game that month, which is good. Saved myself some money. April kicked off with kind of a bang. Outriders. I played a hot minute of it. It's a live service game. Not super interested in those, so I fell off very quickly. Probably played about 3 hours. The combat's really fun, but I just don't have interest in like games where the main point is to loot grind to oblivion. And I also played some of Oddworld Soulstorm, which was a free PS Plus game.
Is that good?
It's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's just I don't know what to say beyond like it exists.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
like
I remember with like Oddworld, like Abe's Odyssey, you know, and Abe's Exodus and that, like those games were big PlayStation titles when we were kids. So I mean, and I enjoyed my time with them. I just like never was curious enough to explore anything after the PlayStation era.
Yeah, Munch's Odyssey was the original Xbox's launch title. You played as the Munch, the little dude in the wheelchair. Yeah, I played. It was a perfect PS Plus title. Looks really nice, so it looks great for PS5. I have no interest in playing that game any more than I did. It was what it was, which is a 2D platformer with nice graphics. Yeah. Is there anything that stuck out to you in April that you're like, man, I love this?
I played 2 games in April. I played Nier Replicant, and that's one I'm still kind of in the middle of. But and I've spoken my thoughts on it before. Like it's a very dark game, but it's I don't know. There's something about the storyline that really kind of has me wanting to know more, wanting to see more of it unfold. I know Dr. Donna played through all 12 endings, I think there were.
I don't remember, but he played, I think it's 6, but he played through 5 or 6. They added another one, so I just don't know whatever it was. They added one more to that. He loved it, but it is a very grindy game, and he likes grindy games. So he likes getting his grind on, okay? He likes twerking it, he likes grinding, he likes all that stuff.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I also played the new Pokemon Snap, which it's a Pokemon.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I didn't know you did. I don't think you ever talked about it on the podcast.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I just kind of have played it. I got it for my kids, and I've just kind of played it here and there when they have put their Switches down. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's literally a photography game. It's not not really a lot to it besides the fact that you're taking pictures of Pokemon. And you get points for like getting multiple Pokemon in the frame or getting shots of them doing something, or you can throw food out to kind of like bait them into a photo, and it's fun. You have to earn enough points in order to be able to progress to the next level. I never played the one that was on Nintendo 64, but this one's been it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I played a couple things in April. I didn't know you played new Pokemon Snap. I've thought about that game a few times, but I just don't think it's for me. To keep with what I said about not really touching the list of remasters, next-gen upgrades, or whatever, I did get Judgment. There's some other stuff I got. But, like I said, it's an old game, 2 years old, that they just did a remaster for. I like it, but whatever. It's not going to make this list. When we do it, there was a game that neither of us played that is huge, but whatever. It was the only interest I had in it was a Sony title that came to Xbox, MLB The Show 21. People seem to love that. It's also on Game Pass. And I did play some of Returnal, which we've discussed before. I have no interest in that game. I don't think I will ever go back to it, and I don't think it was very fun. I think they should have released it at like $30. It was a very beautiful game, but the people who love it are going to love it. But, that's not me. So this is so far this year's. It's going to be hard to even choose a 5 that we love from this year. I feel like because this year's been pretty weak, but we got 2 more months to run through. Man, let's just kick it off with the biggie, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. No, I'm just joking. That's the. I had to throw that in there. Nice. No, the same day though, an actual amazing game came out. Resident Evil Village. Heck yeah, dude, that game is good. I was really worried
I almost didn't buy it. Because 7 was too scary for me. So I was like, do I really want to dive into this world again? But it's good. I love it.
Yeah, I was worried when I saw the early trailers and even played the early demo on the PS5. I was like, man, this seems like it's rushed. I don't know what it was about it, but something felt off about it to me. And then it came out, and I had so much fun playing that game. That game is incredible. I want to go back and play it. Next time I'm like not playing something new, I'm going to go back, which this year is fairly weak, so I'll probably get a chance to do that. Yeah, there was another game that isn't going to make our list per our rules unless you break them is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I've already spoken my piece about that game multiple times on this podcast. I don't think it was necessary, and I don't think the remake was good. What are your thoughts on it though? Even though it doesn't really count.
It is what it is. It's just a Mass Effect that looks slightly better in some parts and slightly worse in others.
Here's one that you played that I didn't touch at all. Biomutant.
Yes,
that was like the big AA game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one I'm about 10 hours in. Been playing it in bits and pieces. It's one of those that they're slowly pushing patches out to kind of like address some of the things the critics have talked about, and it's something that I would like to go back and play from the beginning once it's like more aligning with what it was meant to be. So, but I mean, for right now, I'd probably leave it at like a 6.5. It's not like unplayable, but it's not fun for this generation of consoles. Like, it feels like something that should be on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, I hear you. I think if we end up deciding on doing a top 5, which I think we should, because we never really talk about indies. I think besides a couple of these biggies, my list is going to be smaller games, because this year has been so rough with titles. Like Biomutant was the game I was most excited for in May, knowing full well that it might suck, but I was really, really hoping it was going to be incredible. And sure enough, it came out, and everybody kind of had the same opinion as you, which makes me think like I dodged a $60 bullet, if you will, in terms of like it was not worth the money for that. Yeah, honestly, May was a pretty weak month besides Resident Evil Village. Like, it was the remaster of Mass Effect and Biomutant. Otherwise, it was a bunch of other old remasters and upgrades and a couple indies here and there. I mean, there's a game called World's End Club, which if people are into Danganronpa or whatever it's called, they might have dug, but the reviews were terrible for it, and those are from even people that love that style of game. There was also again, this is the one that wouldn't make our list even if we liked it, but there was a remake or remaster, the 3DS game Miitopia. But yeah, I don't know. I tried the demo and it was no good. Now we're at June, man. We're at the same month. It feels, isn't that crazy? We pretty much only talked about like 6 games that we actually had fairly positive things to say out of the major titles, and we're already at June. I'm looking through this early list. Does anything stand out to you right off the bat? Because I'm looking, there's nothing that's like, wow.
No. I'm trying to see if I've played any of this.
Okay, here we get to some stuff. Chicory. It's an indie title. Looks great. I haven't had a chance to touch it, so I just want to throw that out that it's supposed to be a great indie title. We'll see if I get around to it. But that same day, with the E3 week, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade came out. I'm in the midst of playing the intermission right now. I have some issues with it. I played it last night. There's stuff I like about it. There's stuff I hate about it. It is very reminiscent to how I felt about Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then we had Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which we both played. I love that game. I think that game's very, very well made, very fun. You have any thoughts on any of those 3 before we get to these others that I'm sure we haven't played?
Haven't played the Final Fantasy Intergrade yet.
The thing you bought the PS5 for, because you're getting FOMO. You haven't even turned it on yet.
I know. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, again, fun. Not, it's not the 9. I don't think it's as good as all the other media outlets claimed it is, but like, it is fun. It is fun. Yeah. It's a nice, like, I always like those like Spyro the Dragon 3D platform type games, and Ratchet and Clank kind of fills that void left by the a lack of that type of game. It is very pretty to look at. It's very colorful. Lot going on in the game.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate it's only on PS5, but like if you're a PS5 owner, I would definitely recommend getting it because it is a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad there is a reason to buy a PS5 with Ratchet and Clank because I have one, and it's like otherwise it's kind of been like just hey, here's the upgrades. But I also feel for the people who weren't able to get one who would want to play it. There were some titles we didn't touch that came out that were kind of big in a way, like Game Builder Garage, that Switch game, like kind of like Dreams, where you just like make games. That seemed neat. I tried the demo. I don't think I'll be picking it up. I know how to program. It just doesn't seem like there's any real benefit to have program something, spend all this time on something that is stuck on a Nintendo console only and can't be used anywhere else.
Yeah.
Guilty Gear Strive is a cool looking 2D fighter from the company that did like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Fighters Z or whatever. Looked neat. I don't think I'll be picking it up. Dark Alliance, we've discussed on this podcast.
Yes, the greatest game ever made.
Yeah, that's going to be number 1 with a bullet on all of our lists. This is one, Ender Lilies, Quietest of the Nights. This is one that I have almost pulled the trigger on multiple times, but I have so many other things I'm playing and so much that I'm doing right now. I don't know if I'll get around to doing it before the end of the year or playing it. It's like a Metroidvania. It's very beautiful, looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there was Mario Golf Super Rush and Scarlet Nexus that both came out the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it for
Do
new
you know,
titles in all of June.
Do you know what I kind of want to play?
What?
The Tokyo Olympics game.
Oh, really? You want to dress up as Sonic and run through races? Or
no, it's not even just that. It's like I remember on Nintendo 64, the Olympic game. They had the Nagasaki Olympic game. Is that what that was?
I had that one. Yeah, I had that one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I haven't touched an Olympic game since then. So I'm just curious if this is, I don't know, maybe like as a kid, you're just not hurting, but like really wanting things to play. So everything's fun.
Yeah.
Or if it's like somebody could genuinely make a good Olympic game that appeals to adults.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, I totally agree with you. I just got a weird text message. Yeah, I am interested in that game as well. I don't know if I'll get around to playing it. Like, you know, those are the fun old games. Like, I would probably rather play Mario and Sonic at the Olympics than that actual real one. This is going to be a rough year to even make a top 5, I have a feeling. I mean, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully by the end of the year, there's going to be so many good games like Halo and all that stuff.
They have all these all these games like at the bottom of this list haven't even been given announcements yet, so or release dates, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just interested by what this year is going to be, because if we are able to successfully do a top 5 next week, which you and I will probably discuss off air, if it's literally 5 full of our favorite games from the first half, it's going to be some stinkers at 4 and 5 for us, or like some not great, less big titles.
Out of the 6 I've played, I think it'll be a pretty easy list for me to put together.
Yeah, it's rough, and I'm looking through and like, you know, we always try to do a top 5 at the end of the year. I was hoping this year we'd have so many we'd want to do a top 10, but it is just it's meager, man. If we're not actually discussing remakes, like July, the biggest game that I'm excited for is Skyward Sword, which is like sad because I didn't want to play it when it came out, and it's a remake, or not even like a really big remake, but it is a remake of, you know, an old Wii game. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, man, I'm looking at this list and there's so many just like remasters, next gen upgrades, you know, maybe kind of new games, but really just iterative, like Far Cry 6, Back 4 Blood, like all these titles where it's like they could be great, but there's also a chance they're just going to be
really bad.
Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's one we talked about from E3 that's like, it looks like it could be horrible. Yeah. So, yeah, my bro, I will talk to you soon. Did you have anything you wanted to add before we end up hitting the road?
No, that's it, man. We're good.
Okay, my dude. I will talk to you on the mañana. By that, I mean sometime next week. See ya. Peace.